Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. Thank you for joining me for this very special edition of True Crime Jesus. This is such a special occasion, in fact, that I have collaborated with several other YouTubers to make the video you are about to see. There is going to be quite a lot to take in with this video, so grab a chair, some coffee. You're gonna need it. On February 22nd, 2021, a Facebook user by the name of Leigh Kerr, or Leaker, in the Delphi Facebook group Hiding in Plain Sight, announced they have inside information regarding the Delphi, Indiana double homicide of Liberty German and Abigail Williams. The user opened themselves up for a question and answer session about the double murders. Although there is no way to verify if what Leaker said is true or not, what they said was interesting and seemed to answer many questions people have wondered about the Delphi case for these last 4 years. I will try to stay as objective as possible for this video. It would be irresponsible to at least not consider that this could be a hoax. I will examine Leaker's most controversial statements for analysis and documentation purposes. Leaker talked for hours, and there were 260 screenshots to read through. But first, a stern warning to anyone watching this. Some of the information about to be presented is very disturbing. Viewer discretion is strongly advised. I am not the person who leaked this information. We don't even know if what she's saying is true. The information has already been seen by tens of thousands of people and is widely available on YouTube, Reddit, and most Delphi-related Facebook groups for some time now. I am reporting and analyzing the information. Don't crucify me, again, for analyzing something already widely available in the public domain. Just because you don't like the message, don't shoot the messenger. We're hoping that someone who sees this might see or hear something that triggers a memory. That memory could lead to a realization, which could then lead to a tip. That tip could lead to Bridge Guy's arrest. I think it would be irresponsible to dismiss this as a hoax until we know more. We don't know what is significant until we know its significance. I'm not going to dismiss this as a hoax just because a YouTuber that did zero investigation into it says so, and neither should you. I would encourage everyone to read the conversation and form an opinion of your own. So, without further ado,
the suspect told the girls they were trespassing and he couldn't let them go back across the bridge for safety reasons, so they would have to go down the hill. The suspect tells them they are being arrested. The girls then asked to be released and promised not to return.
It is particularly frightening to consider Bridge Guy used the ruse of impersonating law enforcement to get Abby and Libby down the hill. A ruse is defined as an action intended to deceive or trick someone. An FBI study showed that a ruse is utilized in some way in 2/3 of homicides. We are all taught from a young age to trust law enforcement.
Liberty died from hemorrhaging due to deep lacerations to her neck. It is unknown if Abigail died from blunt force trauma or hemorrhaging.
These statements are mostly consistent with leaked texts from David Erskine and people who claimed to have discovered the bodies.
The original sketch was based on credible witnesses and the video of the suspect on the bridge. The new sketch of the younger man is based on an individual on Snapchat that Liberty was speaking with, based on a description by her friend that she had shown his picture to. It's unknown if the individual in the second sketch is the perpetrator or a catfish.
B. Why Doug Carter said that the killer may appear younger than he is, because the police believe it is possible the killer presented himself as a younger man to Liberty on Snapchat. Could it also be possible that the killer used a younger family member to catfish Liberty? Either way, it was suggested that law enforcement believe finding the man from Snapchat is the key to finding the killer. It may be possible that law enforcement discounted the Snapchat man in the early years of the investigation because of how different he looked from the man that was seen at the bridge. Later information may have caused law enforcement to change their minds about the Snapchat man, which led to the infamous April 2019 press conference and the release of the sketch we know today.
Liberty told several friends she was planning on visiting the bridge. It is suspected she told the person on Snapchat as well.
This has long been rumored online, but nothing conclusive regarding it has ever surfaced. Whether she actually communicated with the killer on that day is unclear, but in the end would not have been necessary. Libby was posting photos to her Snapchat account. If the killer had in fact been in contact with her, he would have known exactly where she was without having to speak directly to her. I remember for about a year after the Delphi murders, the mainstream media would refer to it as the Snapchat murders. For some reason, they stopped referring to it as that.
The only signature that could be clearly distinguished was the placement of the bodies. The girls were placed in a sexual taboo towards each other.
Tableau is defined as a graphic description or representation. Posing is extremely rare and occurs in only 0.3% of homicides.
One of the inconclusive polygraph results was Tobe Lesenby, which, coupled with his handcuffs, is why he was interviewed several times. He has since been completely ruled out with a proven alibi not based on individual testimony.
It was also suggested by Leaker that this section of the video was not released because law enforcement was concerned that the public may have believed law enforcement was somehow involved in the attack.
The Snapchat conversation ceased in the days prior. It was believed that all efforts to identify an individual from Snapchat have been exhausted.
It is unclear how long Snapchat stored information server-side in 2017, but it is entirely possible that the information was not saved at all. Either way, if the killer used a burner phone while using Snapchat, there's not much anyone could have done to track the person who created it.
primary suspect had suspicions raised for the following reasons. 1. There was a minor change in their story. 2. Inconclusive polygraph results. 3. How closely he followed the case. And 4. His cell phone was traced to the CPS building for several hours on February 13th. The primary suspect's alibi was a witness that placed him away from the crime scene. Their alibi has not been disputed.
Leigh suggests that if the primary suspect's alibi was accurate, it should not have pinged at the CPS building. Typically, if there are several cell phone towers within range in the area, the tower with the strongest connection would be the active tower. With at least 2 more other towers within range, through triangulation, a very precise location can be determined, regardless of whether the cell phone is transmitting its GPS coordinates or not.
The primary suspect still takes residence within the vicinity and was known to visit the area. The motive is believed to be sexual and homicidal ideation in nature. The bodies were only moved in the immediate vicinity of the murder.
When Leigh was asked whether Bridge Guy was part of the search party on the 13th or the 14th, she became uncomfortable and would not answer the question.
A small clump of hair was removed from each girl.
In the context of murder, taking a clump of the victim's hair as a trophy represents power over that individual. When the offender keeps this kind of souvenir, it serves as a way to preserve the memory of the victim and the experience of his or her death. It would be highly unlikely for someone to commit a crime like this and then never do it again. Possibly one of the most chilling things that Leigh suggested was that the reason the killer had not struck again was because he knew the police were watching him. To make this whole situation even stranger, near the end of the question and answer session with Leigh, a different, random account responded to one of the questions as if they were Leigh. This account, however, was not Leigh or a fake account. Instead, this was a real person's Facebook account. I will not show this person's name here, but I will say that this person has a family member who would in fact have access to this type of inside information. Is it possible that Leigh Kerr was switching between accounts and accidentally posted from their actual Facebook account? Whatever the case is, this person immediately deleted their comment, removed the information about their spouse's places of employment, and immediately left the Facebook group. Was this someone getting caught leaking vital information on the case, or just an unfortunate coincidence? I'll let you be the judge of that. That's all the time we have for this episode, my dear friends. I appreciate you spending your valuable time with me. Please hit the like button if you enjoyed this video. Subscribe if you haven't already. Tell your friends, your co-workers, even the local pastor. This episode would not have been possible without the nutrition and sustenance that True Crime Jesus receives from his favorite heavenly treat, Ben & Jerry's Chocolate Therapy Ice Cream. Chocolate Therapy Ice Cream is a magnificent concoction of chocolate ice cream, chocolate cookies, and delicious swirls of chocolate pudding. So until next time, my dear friends, this is True Crime Jesus, signing off.